Hi, this is Amy Romeu from the jewelry and craft making blog amyromeu.com, and on this channel I share fun and easy jewelry making and craft projects. Today in this video I'm going to be showing you how I made this necklace with faux leather fall leaves, and it's a really easy and fun project to make with a Cricut, or you could even cut these leaves by hand if you wanted to. I have the SVG cut file that you can use to cut out these leaves yourself with your cutting machine. It's available on my blog at amyromeu.com, and I'll leave a link in the description box below so you can grab that and make this project along with me. And if you're interested in seeing more videos like these, I really hope you'll subscribe to my channel, hit that subscribe button and the bell to be notified when I post new videos. And let's get started. Let's go over the tools and materials I'll be using to make this fall leaf necklace. The first is a Cricut cutting machine. I'll be using the Cricut Maker, but you could also use the Explore Air 2 or the Cricut Joy. I'll use a purple strong grip cutting mat to cut the faux leather, and I'll use an assortment of faux leather sheets in different fall colors. These three colors are going to match back to my fall leaf earrings, and I'll link to the video if you want to see that project. I'll be using some blue painter's tape, scissors, a weeding tool, a hole punch to punch the holes in the leaves, 2 pair of flat nose pliers, and then I have a piece of chain from my local bead store. I'll link to the one that I'll be using, some 6mm jump rings in an antique gold or antique bronze finish, and also a lobster claw clasp. The last thing you'll need is the leaf SVG cut file for this project. That's on my blog, and I will link in the description box below how you can go to my blog and get that SVG cut file pattern for free. So now that I've gone over all the materials, let me show you how to download the SVG file and bring it into Cricut Design Space so we can get started cutting the leaves. Let me show you how to get the free SVG cut file for these leaf shapes from my blog and upload it into Cricut Design Space. So the first thing that you'll do is go to my blog at amyromeu.com, and you'll click on the resource library tab. If you're already a subscriber to my blog, then you'll have the password. If not, you can click get a password, and the password to the library will be emailed to you. And you'll locate the file for the fall leaves necklace and download it to your device and unzip the folder that it comes in. I'll link below to a help page on my website with more information about unzipping if you need help with that. So once you have the file downloaded and unzipped on your device, in Cricut Design Space you'll click New Project and then Upload and Upload Image, and you'll browse for where the SVG file is located on your device, and that'll bring it here into Cricut Design Space and save. Click on the file and click Insert Images, and the leaves will appear on your canvas. So I've created an assortment of leaf shapes and sizes in 5 different colors of faux leather. This large orange leaf is meant to be the center of the necklace, and then the other leaves are in varying heights from 2 inches tall to 1 3/4 inches tall to 1.5 inches tall. So I think it'll make a nice assortment of leaves on the necklace for you. But of course you can adjust these leaves however you'd like to. If you want to make any adjustment to the leaves, you can click Ungroup up here. And for example, if I wanted to use 6 colors of faux leather instead of 5, I could click on any one of these leaves and then choose a 6th color. And then when Cricut Design Space sorts out my mats, I will have a 6th mat that I can cut from another color. But I like the assortment of shapes and sizes that I have here, so I will click the Make It button. And Design Space will sort out the leaves in my 5 different mats. I don't need to mirror the leaves for this project, so I will click Continue. And I am going to cut all of these mats using the same setting, which is faux leather paper thin. If you don't have faux leather paper thin selected as a favorite like I do, you can click here on Browse All Materials and search for it. If you're using an Explore Air 2, you will need to turn your dial to custom before you can make this material selection. And if you're cutting faux leather using a Joy, you can definitely do that. I'll link to a video with some more details on exactly how to cut faux leather with a Joy. In the pressure menu here, I always choose more for the setting. And for each mat, I will need to hover over the mat and make a note of what size material I'll need to cut so that all the leaves cut out of the color. So for example, this first mat, I will need a piece of faux leather over 7 inches wide and a little under 3 inches tall. So I'll want to make a note of that size for each of these mats by hovering over as I get to them, and that way I can cut my material to size. So let's go ahead and do that. Cut the first mat material and prepare the mat, and I'll show you how I cut. We're ready to cut the first color of faux leather, and I'll end up cutting all 5 different faux leather mats using the same settings and the same process, but I just wanted to show you how I do it. So the first thing I did was I cut the color shown on the first mat to the size I noted in the mat preview screen so that all the leaves will cut out completely, but there's no excess material on the mat. And that just helps us get a nice good cut because it's easier to secure a small piece of material to the mat than a big one. So I will place the faux leather pretty side down on a really nice and sticky purple mat in the top left corner like it showed in the mat preview screen. And then using regular blue painter's tape from the hardware store, I will tape the material down on all 4 sides. And I do this because it really helps you get a good cut when the material isn't shifting and moving around on the mat. And this blue painter's tape, I peel it up carefully when I'm finished with the cut, and I use it over and over again. So that's a good little tip. I will load the mat into the machine and press the double arrow button. And I already have my material selection made, faux leather paper thin with more pressure. So I'll press the C button to begin the cut. So when the cut's complete, I always like to check the cut first before I unload the mat. I do that by using a sharp weeding tool and just lifting up an edge of the cut. If the cut didn't go completely through, or if you feel like some parts of the material are still sticking to the mat, you can just press the C button and it will repeat the cut. This is a great way to make sure you get nice clean cuts, or if you're cutting a material that is really thick, this will help you make sure that it's, you know, a complete cut. But this looks good, so I will hit the double arrow button and unload the mat. And then I will just remove my leaf shapes. And you can see how nicely these cut out. These leaves don't have holes on the top yet. I'm going to show you how I make holes in faux leather earrings and charms like this with a hole punch tool. But first what I'll do is repeat this process with the other 4 colored mats. So I cut out all the leaves at once, and then I'll show you how I punch holes and we'll assemble the necklace. So the first thing I'm going to do is sort of plan out my necklace with all the leaves before I start attaching the leaves to the chain. And the way I did that was, this is a 20-inch length of chain, and I laid it down on the table, and then I marked the center with a little piece of tape, and then I held it up to my neck earlier, and I decided that I wanted about 8 inches of leaves in the front of the necklace. I don't really want leaves going all the way to the back of my neck, but you can of course make your leaves as spread out as you'd like. But I basically want to have an 8-inch chunk of leaves here that start with a large leaf in the center, and then they get a little smaller as they taper out. So I've marked these little lines to help me plan, and I know that I'm going to have my biggest leaf here in the center, and then I'll build out. So I'm punching the holes in the leaves before I get started, and I do that using a 1/16 inch hole punch. It's got a very small little hole here, and I just line it up on the faux leather leaf. I don't want it to be too close to the edge, and punch the hole. And you can see it makes a nice clean little hole there. I'll just punch these, and then I'll start to lay out the leaves. And then the only other jewelry making skill you'll need for this project is to attach jump rings by opening and closing them. And I will show you how I do that once we get these little leaves punched. So in order to plan this out, I know I want this one in the center, and then I want to balance out the necklace with the other larger leaves. That one might be too large. So I'm going to balance them by size and also by color. And then I'll just kind of start to arrange them. They will look very bunched up here, but because they're going to attach to these little loops in the chain and the necklace is going to spread out when it is worn down like this, you'll see they'll lay nice. So I just want to balance out the colors so I don't have all the colors bunched up in one area. I only have a few of this burgundy color, so I think I want one sort of on each side. And you can always take these off and move them if you'd like. See, I don't want two of those next to each other because they're the exact same shape. So I will make these little adjustments as I go. And let's see. I like this little pop of sort of metallic bronze. One there. We'll do one of these at the end. And then I have a few more of these. I'll have to figure out where to scatter these. I don't want too much orange there. Okay. Okay, so we can adjust these as we go, but that's a rough idea. And like I said, it will look very jumbled up, but once I start putting them on the chain, I think the chain will spread out. So I'm going to put the first one on just to show you how I do that. I will find the center point of the chain, basically the center link, which is down here. And that's where I want to put the first leaf. And the way to attach the leaf is by using a jump ring. The jump ring has an opening on the top. I always like to put the opening up at 12 o'clock, and then I use 2 pair of flat nose pliers on either side of the jump ring to open. So I'll grip each side, and then with one wrist I twist up, and that opens the jump ring. I like to hold with pliers to keep the jump ring secure and open. I will slide the leaf on, and then I will slide it on the bottom link of the chain. Let me see if I can focus that for you so you can see. So there it is. And that same technique of opening the jump ring and closing the jump ring using the reverse wrist action, that's the same way that I'm going to put the clasp on the back. So I will put, on the end here, I will put one jump ring, and then I will use another jump ring to connect the lobster claw clasp to the other end of the chain. So that's a very easy way to put on the clasp. So what I'll do now is lay this out. I'll spend a few minutes attaching all of these little leaves, and then I will show you the finished product. So I finished putting all the leaves on. Like I said, I started with the large one in the center, and then I went up to where I had taped down on my desk, so I knew where I wanted to stop. And I just sort of layered in all the different leaves, trying to vary the shapes next to each other, so I didn't have 2 shapes next to each other that were the same, or 2 colors that were the same. And these sort of accent colors where I only had a few of those leaves, I tried to balance them out and disperse them evenly around the necklace. And then as I said before, I was going to put the clasp on. So there's the clasp at the end. It's just a jump ring and the lobster claw clasp attached on one end, and then I put a jump ring on the other end, and that's it. And like I said, it's going to look all jumbly, but I'm going to put it on a necklace form and show you so that you can see how pretty this will lay on the neck. And that's it. I really hope you like this project, and you'll head over to my blog at amyromeu.com and grab the free SVG cut file for these leaves so you can make a necklace like this yourself. I hope you enjoyed this project, and if you want to try making this fall leaf necklace yourself, I have the SVG cut file pattern for you in my free resource library on my blog. Be sure to check out the link in the description box below so you can sign up for my newsletter and get access to my free resource library. While you're there in the library, I hope you'll check out all the other projects and tutorials and free SVG cut files I have for you there as well. And if you're interested in learning how to make earrings with a Cricut, you might want to check out my book called Cricut Earrings Made Easy. I'll also have a link in the description box for you to learn more about that. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.